Someone recently asked me, with all the updates that's going on when it comes to Zebec, why is it down almost 7% in the past 24 hours? They've asked me if this is a worrying situation or not. Now, I don't think so. Now, let me give my rationale, even though nothing I say is financial advice and I'm not telling anyone to do anything. So again, one of their rationales is that not only has Zebec been down almost 7% in the past 24 hours, but also on top of that, they recently had a Spaces event alongside World Liberty on X, right? And World Liberty is one of their more long-term partners. We saw that partnership announcement happen not too long ago, and the fact that they even bothered to have a Spaces event alongside them in the first place, like very recently, it kind of showcases that their ongoing relationship is still really good. Now, people like to say, that's supposed to be good, right? Why is it down almost 7% in the past 24 hours? Well, it's because the market overall isn't doing the best. So this doesn't worry me because as of right now, what am I seeing? I'm seeing memes go down. I'm also seeing this go down. That's the thing. I'm also seeing Bitcoin go down, Ethereum, BNB, Solana, and all this. It's not a situation that is unique to only Zebec. So when people out there like to blame Simon, the CEO of Zebec, and say, oh, I can't believe that things are going down. Why can't he make it recover? Well, he can't do that, right? Theoretically, because what is he going to do? He can't control the whole market. Now, granted, Zebec as a company holds around 50% of Zebec, but what are they going to do? Sell it? That'd be even worse. And historically, they've never even exited out of their Zebec position. So again, it just wouldn't make sense. Not to mention, people like to tell me that, oh, this means that Zebec is cooked. Well, is Bitcoin cooked? Let's think about this logically. In terms of the peak of Zebec last year, the market cap was around 540 million. So as of right now, we're approximately 2 times lower than that. However, on the flip side, Bitcoin, it's around 2 times lower than its all-time high. So if we think about it, Zebec and Bitcoin, they're kind of down pretty much relatively the same amount in terms of percentage. It's a little bit no different, really. Again, if we compare Zebec to its peak last year and we compare Bitcoin to its all-time high, in terms of actual percentage, again, Zebec compared to its peak last year, and we compared the decrease it's had ever since the peak last year to right now, and then again, we put that and compare it, I should say, to Bitcoin's all-time high and where Bitcoin is as of right now, both projects, Zebec and Bitcoin, given those parameters, they're down pretty much kind of the same amount in terms of the percentage, around the same ballpark, I should say. So it's not like Bitcoin is doing so amazingly and it's holding up so well, and then suddenly Zebec is going down so much. That's actually not the case. And if anything, the fact that Zebec is holding up this good is pretty surprising to me because a lot of people would expect Zebec maybe to go down like 90% or 95% from its peak last year, which is kind of also logical to assume, right? Because it is an altcoin. But then the fact that it didn't do that and it's kind of holding up pretty much as good as Bitcoin, more or less, that's so surprising because it's an altcoin when it comes to Zebec. Again, that's pretty impressive when I think about that. The fact that Zebec, sure, it's down. A lot of projects are down, but Zebec is holding up so much better when compared to some other projects out there, surprisingly. Now, do I want low prices? I actually don't mind when it comes to dollar cost averaging. But the fact that Zebec is holding up kind of relatively okay, given how it's an altcoin, it doesn't necessarily, I think, concern me either because I actually find it a little bit impressive. Now, if it went down, I don't mind for dollar cost averaging reasons, but I'm not going to complain either if it's kind of holding up pretty okay, relatively speaking. So if the common denominator as of right now when it comes to this space is that it almost doesn't really matter what project it is, if it's Bitcoin, if it's an altcoin or whatever, if it's having all just a pullback, basically, what am I going to focus on? Of course, I'm going to focus on the projects that I'm actually a fan of. That's the thing. And keep in mind, Zebec, given a time like this, still has over 100,000 holders. Kind of funnily enough, actually, before the Stellar partnership was announced, it was announced in 2026, but I'm just saying, before the Stellar partnership was announced, Zebec was hovering at around 90,000 holders. Ever since then, we're now around 108,000 holders currently, like I mentioned before. That's kind of surprising, right? Again, it wouldn't be logical. Zebec didn't increase when compared to last year. It didn't surpass its level last year. It didn't do that. But the amount of holders is steadily increasing in 2026. Why is that? Well, I think it's largely due to the fact that it's been having a lot of partnerships, like the Stellar partnership, like the Ripple partnership, and to a certain extent, what we've seen in the past in terms of the Algorand partnership, I think that also helped the 2026 partnerships that we saw, like in the case of Stellar and Ripple, and also Zebec quite a while back ago achieving ISO 20022. I think seeing all of that right there kind of created this perfect stew, right? This perfect melting pot of basically, a moment where people actually even cared about it when the market wasn't even doing the best, which is so amazing to see actually, because it's not logical, right? The space isn't doing the best, and yet Zebec is increasing in terms of the amount of holders. That's pretty surprising. So it kind of showcases that, yeah, sure, some people are leaving, but some people are also entering. That's the thing. There's two sides to the story, in my opinion. Some people don't care. Some people are starting to care. It really depends. So when people like to say, oh, they're all just leaving Zebec, that's actually not true, because the amount of holders has been steadily increasing, especially even in 2026. That's the thing. I mean, we didn't see all this back then in the peak last year of Zebec. We just didn't see it. So Zebec became cheaper than last year, yet it became better. How does that make sense? Well, kind of makes sense when it comes to this space. Kind of surprising in my opinion. Not that I guess I'm too shocked by it, but I'm pretty surprised nonetheless. People like to tell me that, oh wow, when it comes to Zebec, they're not doing anything anymore and all this. I completely disagree with that. They literally just announced a partnership with something called tokenized GBP. I even made a video about this right in my last video. Not to mention as well, Zebec, it's planning to have a partnership with a large bank in Europe, which we could very well hear soon about the announcement regarding that. Not to mention, Zebec is planning to launch the mobile version of the super app. They already have the desktop version, but they're planning for the mobile version. So we got to think about this. Zebec is still doing a lot of things, and those are the things that we know of right now. Imagine what Zebec could very well be doing moving forward. That's the thing. That's sometimes what people don't really consider. So again, as of right now, I'm pretty happy to see Zebec in this condition fundamentally. Despite the price being down almost 7% in the past 24 hours, this is all background noise to me anyways, in my opinion. Because within this space, for altcoins, going down 10%, up 10% in the past 24 hours, it's like, whatever. It's not such a big deal. It's not like this major occurrence like for some other markets out there, which a movement like that would seem so massive. But when it comes to this space, this type of stuff is just whatever. It's kind of like a daily occurrence sometimes. So it's not concerning to me anyways. Yeah, sure, Bitcoin's down, but I've never seen a permanent bear market ever when it comes to this space. So I'll gladly wait. I don't know how long I'm going to have to wait, but I'm still waiting. I'm still dollar cost averaging once every approximately 30 days, and that's kind of it. I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all have a very nice day. It's Mali the Captain. I'm out. Peace. Bye.